Okay, we're live.
All right. Welcome everybody to the regularly scheduled Whatcom County Fire Protection District 4 Board of Commissioners regular meeting. Just would note that we do have a quorum, although we are missing one commissioner who had let us know last month that he may or may not be able to attend, but we do have a quorum. As far as public comment, members of the public will be able to hear the entire meeting via Zoom or can join the meeting via the link below. And I would invite anybody to join if they would like to. Chief, do we have anybody by any chance in the waiting room or that's wanted to join or participate in the public comment?
No, sir.
Okay. Well, we'll continue to move on then. The next item is the approval of the consent agenda. All matters within the consent agenda have been distributed to each member of the Board of Commissioners for review, are considered routine, and will be enacted by one motion of the board with no separate discussion. If a separate discussion is desired, that item may be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda by request. And as is our custom, the items that are part of the consent agenda are the meeting minutes from the September 12th regular meeting, staff reports, which include the chief's report, operations report, training report, technical support, the financial vouchers, and then under the voucher payroll and benefits, we have a monthly expenditure payroll voucher of $384. And a monthly expenditure voucher of $1.32. The total expense fund revenue for September is $28,915.32. Total expenditures for October, $385.32. So that summarizes the consent agenda. I didn't have anything I felt we needed to pull out of there. How about you, Tim?
No, I have no items that I believe require separate discussion.
Okay. Would you be willing to move to approve the consent agenda?
Yeah, I'd like to move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second. Moved and seconded that the consent agenda be approved. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Under unfinished business. So Chief, did you want to drive this part where
Sure.
We're working on discussions and collaborations with the city of Bellingham?
Yep, working with Chief Hewitt on the outreach that I talked about. It's going slower than I planned, just like everything, just due to life and workflow here. I'm hoping Commissioner Cooley and I are supposed to meet tomorrow at 11 o'clock on Zoom to kind of go over refine the outreach, I guess, for lack of a better word. And then I'm really hoping to get something on the books for whether it's probably going to be honestly the first week in November, so that we can start getting some feedback from people. We have met with a couple or gotten some responses from some larger landowners or developers in the area, but nothing. What we really want is kind of the rank and file. The average homeowner is what we're looking for feedback wise. So apologize, it's taken longer than I thought, but it's a bigger project than I thought.
Yeah. Well, and there's still some pretty significant financial questions that are up in the air as well.
Yes. Yeah. The EMS levy is kind of one big piece to that. Because the EMS levy does provide some additional funding to the district each year. There's just, it's a continually moving target.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, we can't just force this issue. By nature, we need to find partners and work together. And there's the financial questions, there's, scheduling. The city has priorities, so, it's just unfortunately the boat we're in.
And I don't know if you spend much time on social media, and not the fun ones like Instagram and Facebook, but boring ones like Nextdoor. But I've been spending a bit of time on Nextdoor, and once again, property tax valuations are 25 to 41, up 25 to 41%. And there is a large segment of the population that is extremely anti-tax. And it concerns me going out there with a message that we don't have, whether we have enough money or not, going out there with the message we don't have enough money, even if we can prove it. I don't know how many sympathetic ears we're going to find right now.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, you're right. And the state of the local and national economy isn't
Correct.
really helping either.
Yep. Everything from gas prices to food prices, everybody is being stretched. And it's
Yeah.
tough. It's tough to figure out how to do this and feel good about how you do it. Feel clean about how you do it. And that's the important thing.
Yeah. Chief, is the idea to, if we do some community meetings, do you have a presentation that we're going to roll out for that, or more of a dialogue that we intend to have?
Yeah, it would be a presentation by both Chief Hewitt and I about what it costs in our respective larger agencies to fund fire service, and then what we're doing it for, and then a bit by me on what we're doing it for in District 4, and then looking at District 4's future financial, if the assessed valuation goes up this much, then the levy rate comes down this much, and is it able to pay for the service you have today, and what that service would cost from North Wacom and what it would cost from the city of Bellingham. And then hopefully lead them to the conclusion that the only way to fund fire services in District 4 is by a levy rate increase. It doesn't have to be a massive increase. It's going to have to be bigger than we'd like it, but we're not talking about going to $1.50, but we are talking about every year it degrades the further we have to raise it to get to really the market rate. We're in contract negotiations right now with the local, and I'm sure both of you gentlemen have been involved in business enough that you know what that's probably like. We are kind of between a rock and a hard place. It costs money to staff a fire department. It costs money to provide the equipment, and that's what we need the citizens to know, is that it's not just, can't just do it for. It just can't continue to degrade. We have to raise revenue, which unfortunately means raising taxes. But I'd like them to hear, and then have both Chief Hewitt and I be able to answer their really, I'm expecting pointed questions as to why and how come it costs this much, and that way they can hear it from both of us. This is why, and this is how come. So they can get all their answers or all their questions answered.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, good explanation.
Sorry, Mark, didn't mean to walk on you there. I was kind of curious. I know last month we talked a little bit about the proposed Northern Heights annexation, and we're hoping to get a little more clarity from the city of Bellingham on how far out that is or not. I assume that would make a bit of a difference in what our messaging would look like.
Yes, right now I've been told that the city of Bellingham is not going to move forward with the annexation of Northern Heights. And a major reason why is because of the low tax. They cannot, based on what the taxpayers are paying right now, the city of Bellingham cannot afford to provide services to them.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, good discussion. Tim, do you have anything else on that item?
No, this is helpful. If you're looking for another set of eyes to look over the messaging, Chief, I'd be happy to look at that as well.
It will, after Commissioner Cooley and I go through it, it will go out to all three of you, so that you can tear it apart and provide your suggestions or recommendations.
Okay, thank you.
The next item on unfinished business was a response to the letter from North Watcom, as far as like what our plan would be to continue to pay for the contracted services. And last month, we all agreed that it'd be a good idea to respond to that letter. Since there's still some unknowns out there that haven't formalized, at least that I was hoping that we could, drop in that letter. I was thinking that, I think, is it next week?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Yeah.
Yep.
So Tim, I was thinking next week, I'm going to be in Spokane for that annual fire commissioner seminar, and Jason's going to be there as well, and I think a couple people from District 21. So I thought to just I'll run this by you just on ease of everybody's schedule, rather than me trying to maybe have a separate meeting or get together with the chief and Bruce. We could talk about this when we're all together in Spokane, and kind of put something together. And of course, any sort of formal letter, we'd send it out to you and Steve to take a look at as well before we sent it officially. But does that sound like an okay timeline and plan to you, Tim?
Yeah, Mark, I support that idea. I think it'd be good to have some discussion. And then we could follow it up with the letter. I do feel like we owe them some response, and I think that's great if we want to start by having a discussion with them and then follow up the letter.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, thanks. Whatcom County BLS reimbursement.
We're still waiting to hear. And the biggest thing is I just wanted to be able to go on public record and say we're still waiting to hear, because they told us we would know something by now. So that's why I put it on the agenda.
Sure.
So, I have not heard. There was some discussion earlier about changing the way they were going to do that, and then the county executive rescinded that. So I don't know what the holdup is. And I don't believe any chief in the county knows. So it's in the county somewhere.
Okay. Anything else under unfinished business? Any new business?
I have one piece. I don't know if it's something that we'll need to talk about next month or not, but just wanted the commissioners and the board and the public to be aware of the difficulties that we're having with staffing right now. This weekend, Station 12 was down to 2 firefighters per day, both Saturday and Sunday. As you know, we're short some positions. We've got people at the academy right now. They come off, they're done with the academy on November 4th, and we'll be moving to what I call the reintegration training. So they'll be working towards being full-time on a crew. That should take a couple weeks. But we're wearing our people out. There's no pattern to anything. We're not getting, blue flu or anything like that. It's just people are worn out, and they're literally they're ill and they're tired. And it's not just District 4 stations. Just, I want you to know that same thing happened at Station 61 in Blaine. we're kind of, we call it browning down, where we go down to 2. We're trying to pick our slower stations, or the ones that we have more support at, so that that gap isn't noticed, but it is concerning to me. And I wanted the board, and by way of the board, the public, to be aware that we're facing a staffing crisis, similar to what law enforcement is, but different because it's a fire department. It's just a tough time right now. And the employees, I can't thank them enough for stepping up. People are doing some incredible, putting in some incredible hours at work, but that always comes at a risk of illness or injury. And I can't believe we made it all the way to October 15th before we saw it, but we finally have kind of hit a wall. And so it's staffing is a big problem right now. I just wanted to make you all aware of that.
Have we had, or are you aware of if we've had any calls for service where the response was either compromised or put in jeopardy or unreasonably delayed or anything like that?
No, the only what's causing what, thankfully, no, we have not had anywhere where 3 would have made a difference over 2. What is happening is that we're having to add units from other districts or the city of Bellingham to our calls to help with lifting. 2 people can only lift so much, or getting someone down a set of stairs or up a set of stairs or out of the backyard, those kind of things. So that is slowing things down, and operationally that slows, that has more than just an effect on the one station. It affects the system wide. So, but no critical incidents. There's no harm been done. There's no property loss that I'm aware of from any of this browning down or from staffing.
Okay.
But it does take a toll on the system as a whole, because now you've got units out of place where 1 unit could have taken care of it before. Now you've got 2 units. Sometimes that third person makes all the difference in the world. So,
Yeah.
Well, I can tell from your staff report, Chief, that there's a lot of overtime hours there, and I know what that means. It means firefighters taking time away from their family and
Yep.
being able to relax. And I really appreciate their sacrifice at this point. Not sure what we could do, if there's something we can do to.
And that's the problem, is there's nothing immediately that we can do. We've got these recruits in the academy. They'll be out. We've posted again for hiring more people in early 2023. So we're doing our best to get caught up. It's like any industry where there's, specific training. It takes time. I'm sure at the refinery it was the same. I know for law enforcement, it takes, the time you hire somebody, it takes a long time to get them out on the road. And it's very similar for us. And once they're on the road, they're not, once they're on the floor for us, they're not, they don't have the 5, 6, 7, 10 years of experience. They're a new person. So they, requires mentoring, and you got to get the right people in the right place. And yeah, it's a process.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not aware of any correspondence. Anything come in late, Chief, after the agenda was printed?
No, sir.
Okay. So that takes us to the next meeting. Looks like November 14th. That work for you, Tim?
Yes, sir. I'll be available.
Okay. Jason, you and your staff, that's okay? All right, well, let's set it for that. And then just, I would note, not that we need to have any discussion on this right now, but just to tee it off for next month, Public hearing over, that would be about an increase to the budget, continued RFA merger discussions, Station 12 maintenance, and public hearing. So anybody have anything else for the good of the order here before we adjourn? Okay, well, thanks, everybody. And
I would remind both of y'all to stop by Station 12 and sign if you could.
on my calendar,
Perfect.
I'm going to go to the bank and I'm going to go to the station right now.
Perfect.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay.